Welcome, mothers and others. We are kicking off our candidate series for 2024, and we're so excited. So, first up is Lee Bausinger. He's a candidate for US 23 against Tony Gonzalez. US 23 goes from San Antonio to El Paso, Texas, and it is the largest congressional district in Texas. Welcome, Lee. I'm so glad you're here. Thank
Well,
you for
thank you very
joining us
much.
tonight. We are ready to hit it. So, Lee, tell us, why are you running for office?
It's an interesting story. I'm married. I've been married for 34 years. My wife is a teacher, and my two daughters are both teachers. My wife taught at Pearsall during Uvalde for the Robb Elementary tragedy that happened there, and my
Mm.
daughter also taught there. And I mean, of course, all that happened, she came home to me and she's like, we've got to do something, right? I mean, Uvalde and Pearsall are very close to each other, distance wise. I live in Divine. I live in the district that I'm running for. I'm finding that's unusual, but if it affects the district and I want it to affect me. And so she came to me and we talked it over. It's like, what can we do? And finally, it's like, well, let me run for office. And we talked about it a little more and ran for Congress. I mean, she was very much a part of that whole decision. She's been very supportive of me through all of this. And so, I couldn't even gotten this far without her. And so that's the why of it. As I talk to people, I see things along the way where, I can help out more and more items that I can try and get in and do some good for. And, I'm not a politician. I'm not a lawyer. I'm an engineer. And so if I see problems, I like to offer solutions. Some of the problems that I see, one of them is, women's health care. And specifically, I'm very much pro-choice. I'm a Democratic candidate. And so I think that as a man, I should be able to trust the women in my life, trust the people that I love, trust the people that I live with, that I'm involved with, and to make their own decisions. And I don't need to be extending my influence out past that, right? As a man, right? I think that a woman is smart enough, women are capable enough, they can make their own decisions about their own health care, their own bodies, all those choices that, women face. You don't need legislation to go that far down into a person's life. I'm very much against that.
You just mentioned women's health. So, what are your
Mhm.
other, like, I'm going to ask everyone to name three issues that they're really firmly standing on in their
Right.
campaign. So, one of them, of course, you just said was women's health. And thank you so much for that. Absolutely has to be at the top of everybody's mind right now, in Texas. So, what are the other two?
The other two, I'm very much for gun control. My impulse into even getting into this, I'm very much, pro gun control, pro gun reform. There needs to be something done. I mean, I've been saying for a long time now, hopes and prayers just aren't enough. And nobody is stepping up and saying, I'm willing to get in there and make noise. And then the third one that I wanted to talk about was immigration reform. I mean, the political statement is the way I say it is Americans don't hide behind walls, right? We step up, and we have historically stepped up and confronted issues. I like to think that as a people, as Texans, as Americans, we're compassionate enough to treat treat people coming across the border with compassion, with kindness, and with acceptance. We hear about Eagle Pass all the time. I've been there a couple of times to talk to one of the sheriffs down there, talk to a few others down there about some of the problems they're seeing. One of the biggest problems I'm hearing from law enforcement down there is, if an officer brings someone in, they have to process them, right? Which take 30 minutes or more per person. Well, think of the number of people that just takes that many officers off the field. We need to give them more support, and the money is there. It's floating around somewhere, but it's not getting to the people that need it, the people that are actually, boots on the ground type. Um, and so those are the three items is, like I said, healthcare, gun reform, and immigration reform. Um, for healthcare, living in Divine, if I have an emergency and I have to drive 30 to 45 minutes in order to get to an emergency room, either in San Antonio or in Hondo. It's a huge district, but there's a lot of rural agriculture, farming, ranching, and some of the counties have very low population densities. And their choices are live with an emergency situation, drive for an hour, possibly two, or, take a helicopter, which is prohibitively expensive. It's a problem that there aren't enough emergency services as far as healthcare goes. And then going into women's healthcare, that's a problem that exists out here as well. Some clinics only have doctors one or 2 days a week, and they kind of rotate through the different towns, which is good. It's a step up from driving, but it's still, there's necessary items that this district in particular, it has unique needs that a lot of other more densely populated districts don't have. I would love to see manufacturing limits put into place on guns, so that you don't have, these high volume, high rate of fire weapons in people's hands where the police are afraid to take action like they were at Robb Elementary. I mean, they were scared to death to enter that room because of the power of the firearm that kid had. That was one of the major contributors to that tragedy. And so there's all sorts of things that can be done, on that count from an engineering perspective that respects the Second Amendment, right? Because I know that's the big thing always tossed out there that nobody's talking about, nobody's investigating.
Thank you so much, Lee. So where can we find you? What is your social media accounts? How can we support you?
You can find me on TikTok. I've got some posts there from way back that talk a lot about just different issues, random issues that come up over time. I've also got, you can see I put my website on my name up here, leefor23.us.
Lee is running against Tony Gonzalez, and Tony Gonzalez has a press conference tomorrow, I think, with Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, Michael Johnson. And it'd be great if some people just decided to, show up.
Yeah. Fun fact, Gonzalez has voted against every major infrastructure bill that's come across the table that has any hint of Democrat attached to it, which means that over the 29 counties that are in District 23, if you count all the counties, he has turned away $600 million from Texas in federal money.
The counties on the border really use that, really, really need that money. So yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Lee. I'm so glad you got to join us tonight, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the road. Thank you so much.
Very, very much appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.